Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This time on Season 2, Episode 5, titled A Hen in the Wolfhouse. And I can only imagine it's Simmons, because the Wolfhouse would be Hydra, and the hen would be Simmons. And contextually speaking, that makes more logical sense. But yeah, last time, what did we have? We had May versus May. That was an awesome fight scene to see. We had May versus May. We had Agent 33. And they brought back those face masks that we saw Natasha using in Winter Soldier to impersonate one of the Security Council members. But they brought those back, and we saw more of how they worked. They actually had to take a blood sample from May and use like a recording of her voice for the mask as well. So the mask has like a voice modulator and stuff, and then it reads biodata and all that sort of stuff. So one mask, and also slipping on May's shiny glittery dress. And Agent 33 turned herself into Agent May, but I mean, she can impersonate her face and her voice, and also like her physical capabilities to an extent. But she couldn't actually replicate her memories. She couldn't read any of those memories or her mind or anything. So half of what Coulson was saying to her under the influence of believing that she was actually May was just completely flew over her head, and she knew nothing about the contingency plan that they have. And also the tell sign that we discovered later is that May hates coffee. So when Coulson offered to take her out for coffee and Agent 33 agreed, that's when they knew, yeah, boom, you're not my real May. The May I know would never go for coffee. So yeah, so it's very, very fitting that, I'm just drinking a nice hot beverage for myself now. But yeah, I'm still under the impression that that it's now another thing I want. It's another thing I want from the show. One thing is Simmons to be a thing, which I don't know. I mean, the way they're going now, I mean, Simmons has yet to even return to S.H.I.E.L.D., so I don't know how that stuff's gonna go. But I want Simmons to be a thing because they are adorable as all hell together. Another thing, I want Coulson and his cellist, Audrey Nathan, to be reunited. And now another thing, I want May to try out coffee. So yeah, I've been told not to get my hopes up too high, because it's in the grander scheme of things, it's a smaller thing. But still, it's just try it. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I might be kind of pulling at loose strings or pushing too far. But either way, she hates coffee. That's her tell sign. And I get it. It's not everyone's thing, so I can accept that much. So we had May versus May. That was a cool fight scene. And I think I liked that it was easier to see which May was our May, because the one who wasn't our May had stolen the dress from our May. So our May was just in like an undergown, like a nightie or something. And then the fake May, Agent 33, was actually wearing May's dress, so we knew which one to root for as she kicked, punched, and slammed her face into the desk, and even burned her with the cord that Bakshi ripped out earlier. So yeah, so we had that. We discovered more about what Coulson and May's secret conversations have been about as of late, and it's to do with Coulson's contingency, which is death, basically. He's worried the way things are going, like his episodes and his writing on the wall and all that sort of stuff. And his kind of main fear is that he's going to turn into Garrett, and that he's going to go crazy because of all this stuff. And so before that happens, he wants May to put him out of his misery and just kill him. But she's avoiding that as much as possible, and she's even kind of booked in I think like a flight, like a possible escape plan to the Australian outback, where there are kangaroos and shit that he loves, and they can just live the rest of their lives out there, where she can keep an eye on him and look after him as she wants to. And the entire episode is just couple goals. But yeah, in the end, like Coulson was like, this is a really well thought out and really sweet plan of you to put together, but no, screw it, you're shooting me in the head as I've ordered you to. So hopefully that changes. I don't want to see Coulson with a bullet between the eyes again. And I think it's like him demanding that she do it to the head is like his brain is. I think if he doesn't die with a shot straight to the brain, then I think I don't know. I mean, because he's enhanced with the GH325, I think maybe there's a chance it could still bring him back. But if it's straight to the brain, then that's pretty much like the control center for the most part. So if it's a shot between the eyes, then he's gone for good. But yeah, that is Coulson's contingency plan. We'll see exactly how that pans out. We had Fitz socializing somewhat more. He had trouble socializing with them under safe and calm conditions, but then once the plane was attacked by Fake May and a virus was installed, and then bits and pieces of the plane started going out one by one, and right before the engines went out, he managed to use his own expertise and Hunter's hands to save the plane, and then Hunter bought him a drink to celebrate, and then he let loose about Simmons, and he socialized. He socialized, so he's getting close, and I think this is also the point where, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I imagined that him realizing or finding out that Simmons wasn't really there was gonna be a much bigger deal, but he seems to be coming to terms with it a lot, like in a much calmer fashion than I originally imagined. Like he seems to be able to tell her, like, you know, why am I even talking to you? You're not here, or like, you're a figment of my imagination. Like, he seems to be able to realize that. I think it's probably because, like, Coulson broke the news to him very, very easily. He didn't yell at him. He didn't, like, chastise him. He didn't just drop it on him like a bomb. You know, he did tell him, like, you know, Simmons isn't here, but she's on a mission for me under special orders, and, you know, she's as safe as, you know, she can possibly try and be, but everything's fine, so, you know, you don't need to panic. So he did try and ease him into it. So I think because of that, and I think at this point as well, like all along, like, what he's realized more of is that, you know, Simmons is there because she's the one person in his head who can keep him calm. So it's like, he's realizing more that Simmons is there for that reason in his head, more than the fact that Simmons isn't there and he's all alone, because he knows he has other people around him, and now he's coming out to the fact that, you know, he can actually talk to those people as well, like the people who are actually materially there instead of the ones he just manifests in his head. So it's good to see him progressing. Regardless of whatever bullshit Ward pulls on him. It's good to see my boy Fitz progressing into the modern world. So that was cool. We had the painting, a painting of Mary and baby Jesus, and it was in like a church that burned down and destroyed mostly everything else, but the painting was the only thing that survived. But the painting was special because it had alien writing on the back, and as Coulson had researched at the end of the episode, the painting was like 500 or more years old, but the writing on the back was fresh, meaning that there was someone else out there doing the same thing he did, except to ancient artwork, or even other things, maybe. So I think my guess right now is that it's Skye's dad. He's the only other one we know who's actually involved with this stuff, and, you know, he has the obelisk and he knows what its secrets are, supposedly. So I can only assume that he's the only other one who knows what the writing on the wall is, and, you know, he knows enough about it to create more. Whether or not he has GH325, it's up for exploration and further episode viewings. But my guess is that it's him. It has to be him. I don't imagine it's Raina. And speaking of Raina, I really don't imagine it's Raina. But she was originally given the task of finding and bringing Skye's dad, Sky, so that he could show them more of what the obelisk can do and stuff, because she's the only one who can touch it. We haven't seen him touching it. We don't know if he can touch it. I assume he can, but Raina is the only one we've seen who touches it, and it does nothing but glow. Shows more of the writing, but it just glows. It doesn't harm her in any way. So I'm wondering what her secrets are. But yeah, she also ran into Daniel Whitehall, the super Nazi, the youthful Nazi, at the end of the episode, and he warned her that he could find her anywhere, wherever she is, whenever she is, all that sort of stuff. So he gave her the mission of getting the obelisk back to him. So yeah, she's kind of got a double mission. So on the one hand, she has to steal the obelisk from her boss and give it to Daniel Whitehall. On the other hand, she has to find Skye and bring her to her dad and all that sort of stuff. So my guess is, like, my take on that would be, go to S.H.I.E.L.D., ask them to help keep Hydra off your back, and then tell Skye that you can that she can get her back to her father and meet him and stuff. But as long as S.H.I.E.L.D. helps keep Hydra off of her back and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, right? It's gonna be fun. This season is going pretty fun so far. It's it's continuing that kind of deeper, somewhat creepier tone, I'd say. Yeah, like with the alien writing and with Hydra just scurrying around and still being a threat, it's definitely kind of upholding that creepy, dark tone that they introduced like in the latter half of season 1. So I'm liking it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have from the past episode. So episode 5, A Hen in the Wolfhouse. Let's go.
So everyone raise your glasses to Pete and Mariah, the Lightners.
Well, I've got a mug. Does that count? The Lightners. Is the champagne poisoned? Oh crap! The champagne's poisoned. Damn. Whoa. Oh, he's obeliskifying. They're obeliskifying. They're being obelisked. No, my coffee's good. They did not touch my coffee. They did not touch my coffee.
Why don't you tell me your source and I'll follow up?
I'm afraid that's classic.
His head, his mind.
Maybe you could declassify.
Good. I won't.
Why not?
If you continue questioning my authority, then you and I are going to have a very different conversation, one you will not be comfortable with.
Please don't fight. Please don't fight. Please don't fight. I don't want to see you fight.
Yes.
Please don't fight. Okay, well they didn't fight. That's the important thing.
Don't beg. It reminds me of what you were when I found you. Hungry, in the streets with just those fairy tales your grandmother told you.
You said you'd make them come true.
You said you'd bring
He
me
found her
And I did.
when she was a child.
promise. I'm a man trying to put my family back together.
You're Lucy.
Oh Jesus. Oh jeez.
And I can't breathe.
Yeah, let go of her, dude. Come on. Ugh. Jesus. Someone has anger issues.
That's not her name.
Okay, what is her name? Well, don't tell me her name.
Doc.
If her name's not Sky, what is it then?
One of Hydra's new heads.
Heads? There's more than one? Well, I mean, but there's more than one person?
Recently attempted to
But if we were to acquire the obelisk itself, would it then be possible to weaponize its effects?
I'd say so, yeah.
I would think so.
Mm-hmm. They have the source material, yeah.
Max certainly has an impressive physique, wouldn't you say?
Bugger off.
No, it's true. Look at him.
It's like a black Thor and a bald Thor, yeah.
Well, obviously I agree, what with you being my subconscious and everything.
Yeah.
Please, I'm not gonna have this conversation with myself.
This is a good thing.
It seems your Hydra boyfriend downstairs would be a good place to start.
Oh, please don't call him that. Don't call him anything but that. Anything but relationship
This
terms.
isn't about that.
He wasn't making a lot of sense after he was injected with the GH formula. These writings,
Wait. It's in Sky too.
yours, are they?
Is she gonna start writing? Shouldn't she be writing?
Good.
It's in her too.
Awaiting further instructions. Fish tacos.
Fish tacos. Ah, that's the cover. That's the cover. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool piece of tech.
So what, you guys put like tiny hidden cameras in my bunk?
Oh, please tell me
Bunk,
not.
but I think you're
Not in the
focusing on
bu-
wrong
where?
details here. Maybe you didn't.
Because she's an 084.
It was already there.
Yeah, right, like I'm an alien.
Is that a
Hold on, are you saying
possibility?
that I am an alien? That is not something you just say like it is no big deal.
Just trying not to rattle you.
Oh, great job.
Epic fail.
Everyone, listen up.
Oh, who's this? Jess?
Behind your back.
Keep everyone off their
Is that
phones.
Jess?
We have a mole, ladies and gentlemen. Right here in our very facility.
Damn, she looks good in red.
Someone has been sending shield messages right under our noses.
Oh, crippity
I
crap.
specialize in finding them. Bakshi here, well, he makes them suffer.
Oh god,
Until
Jess
that
is working
happens-
for Hydra?
No one leaves.
Oh no.
My loyalties are with Hydra.
I'll be the judge of that.
I'm loving this new look Adrian's got going on. Yeah. Oh, she moved it.
Madam, something you have to see. Wait, that's not mine. I've never seen that before in my life. I don't even know what that is.
Oh no. Oh, Simmons moved it. She planted it in Simmons. You are one sneaky mole. You are a sneaky survivor of a mole. Raina. Okay.
That's what everyone's making such a fuss about.
Oh, it's not just a flower dress. It's a camouflage for a sneaky snake.
I wonder what would happen to Agent Simmons.
Oh, no, Raina, you would not go there.
Fall into the wrong hands.
Oh, Raina, you would not go that far. Tell me she wouldn't go that far.
Don't you seem nervous?
Yeah, if you pop out from behind the corner, anyone's gonna be nervous.
Lurking right outside of my store.
Yeah.
Hydra? He's everywhere.
Damn, Jess changed after she burned on the ceiling, huh?
Carry on.
Oh, damn, but she does look... I'm sorry, I can't say something. She looks great in red, I can't get over that.
This isn't a thrill. You have 2 minutes.
To say yes or no.
There's nothing I can do.
Where
Oh.
are you planning to take Sky?
To meet her dad.
This is not the way to go about this!
Fortunately, we knew him. This cannot be a coincidence.
Yeah, it's not.
What?
Oh, 10 seconds. Oh my god. Do not let it send. Do not let that send. Don't let it send. Don't let it send. No, no, no. Coulson, what have you done? Jess? Oh, she's a badass. Oh, damn. I did not see that one coming.
It's happening. I don't mean to sound ungrateful because I am truly grateful, but who are you?
Bobby Morse. Coulson sent me
Bobby
a
Morse,
Hydra to
okay.
ban you.
Oh, she's the mole. Oh, she's another mole.
Sorry about that.
Bobby Morse, okay. Is it an invisible jet? Oh, it's the Quinjet with the cloaking. Nice. Nice. Oh, the Quinjet with the cloaking. There we go.
My hard drive.
Ah,
Our conversation in the bathroom.
of course she did. She's good. She's good. Yeah, I like her too. Oh, yeah, it's a picture of him. Yeah, he has to be here. Oh, and he's holding a baby. Is that baby Sky?
But there's something you need to see.
Is it more alien writing? Has he been writing? No, he's been killing. Oh, jeez.
Small blade. He's a monster.
Monster. Oh, God damn it.
This is Shield 218, asking permission to land.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she is.
I've asked her to join
So
the team.
tall, like an Amazon. Go say hi, 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 go say hi. Come on.
Simmons,
She's real.
is that really you?
It's real.
Of course it is. Who else would it be?
Long time no see, Barbara.
Barbara? Okay, so they know each other too. So is it Bobby or Barbara?
Oh, you know. Hey, Hunter.
She knows Hunter too?
Nice suit. Really, that's what you're leading with? What did you do to your hair?
Her hair looks amazing.
I prefer you blonde.
She was
Why would
blonde?
you do it for you? Hunter ever tell you stories about his she-devil ex-wife?
All the time.
It's her?
Anyone mind telling me what the bloody hell she's doing here?
Bobby's his ex-wife?
Oh, that's rich. Then mind telling me what I'm doing here?
It's easy. I vouch for you.
So nice.
Bobby is his. Oh my god, I could never have seen this coming. I could never.
It's a map.
It's a map. Care to explain that theory? Whoa! Oh, damn! Yeah. Oh, jeez. Does he have the obelisk?
You've been looking for this.
He has the obelisk. He has the obelisk.
The obelisk.
Yeah, huh?
In its native language, it's called the Diviner.
The Diviner.
We share a common enemy.
Shield.
A guy named Phil Coulson.
Huh.
Maybe together you and I could kill him.
No!
Along with, you know, everyone else.
No! Sky's dad, no. Bad dad. bad father. No, that's the end of the episode. But no, bad move. You do not kill everyone in S.H.I.E.L.D. I assume you mean minus your daughter. You're going to try and find a way to get her out of the massacre, but no. Jeez, Louise, I have no idea how to process the shit that went on. Oh god, my throat actually kind of fucking hurts. Oh. Okay, so we get a bit more screen time with Sky's dad in this episode, and we find out that he's like a doctor or a surgeon. My first thought was surgeon, but then the guy wasn't even under anesthesia when he was taking the bullet out of him, so I guess just like a simpler kind of doctor would be more, appropriate. Or maybe he is a surgeon. I mean, to remove a bullet hole, you don't necessarily need it. I mean, there are emergency cases when you just take it out anyway. But I think that's more like survivalist options anyway. But regardless, he's a doctor of some sort. And he has anger issues. He's very capable of killing. I mean, we know the stories. Raina originally said the parents were the monsters, so I can only assume that, back in the Hunan province, Sky's father and her mother both cooperatively did the killing, but we don't know the whereabouts of her mother anymore. We don't even know if she's still alive. I think I'm guessing in this situation, maybe it's a case of, her father was the only one that survived this, long going search for Sky herself. So now maybe her father's the only one left. Or maybe her mother's still there. I don't know. So far, right now, I feel like we're lucky enough to even get a hint of her father. But he has anger issues, and he's very capable of, unleashing that anger, as we saw. Having Raina in a chokehold and smashing the glass and killing the two dudes in his lab place hideout thingy. And even those two Hydra security agents and stuff. So he's very capable of defending himself, and he's. It's nothing compared to all the killing he did back in China. So, yeah, there's that. But he also has some backstory on Raina. He found Raina hungry on the streets. So, I mean, my initial kind of envisionment of that was, maybe when she was a kid. Because he did say, when we were, and you had all those fairy tales, you had all those fairy tales in your head of what your grandmother told you and all that sort of stuff, and then she was like, you said you can make them come true, so I'm assuming it was maybe when she was a kid, or like a teenager, just like a young person, like a young child on the streets, going hungry, and he found her then, and maybe raised her in some way, or maybe just, took her under his wing in some sense, but, we don't really know much about where Raina herself comes from, like who her family is or whatever. She definitely seems like a drifter, pretty much. Just like not really, any particular person to her name. Just she's. I mean, do we even know her last name besides from Raina? Like Raina something? I don't know. I don't remember there ever being a mention of her last name. Literally, the only name I've heard being used for her, or remember being used for her, is Raina. That's it. So. In terms of that, I'd say, Sky's father probably is the only other close person she knows. But even then, he's shown now that he doesn't even care much about her. He's like, you can't come to beg for me. You go to Daniel Whitehall. You go beg to him, and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. But then at the end of the episode, he goes up to Hydra and he offers Daniel Whitehall the obelisk and says, I'll teach you how to survive it. So now for some reason now he sees a common enemy with Hydra in Phil Coulson. I don't know why. For one thing, right? He should have been there. He should have been there when Sky actually found his place. He should. I have no idea why he cleared the place out. I don't know why he wouldn't be there to find his daughter. One minute the guy is giving Raina the mission of bringing him his daughter, but then when his daughter actually goes out of her way to find him, he's just packed up, killed the only two guys he was meant to help, and then just up and left, and he's watching them through a camera in his hideout. So yeah, there's that, and then of course he leaves. You would think he would know better than to just leave the bodies there in a pool of blood, because then he knows what kind of impression that gives off, and then Sky sees that, and May said, the blade used was like a small scalpel. We saw him using that, but then the rest of the damage is just literally pure strength, so he took them out himself. But then if he doesn't want her to see him as a monster, then you'd think he would know better than to leave the bodies there, like maybe just just dispose of them somehow. But I don't know, maybe it's like he was in the midst of his anger and he didn't really think properly, or something else. But that kind of gave her the impression that he did all this and he's a monster and all that jazz. So yeah, not the greatest indirect first impression. But now he sees a common enemy with Hydra and Phil Coulson, so he's willing to work with them on the obelisk in return for killing everyone at S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, I mean, he's not really. I think if he mentions anyone in particular he wants to save, he also runs the risk of letting Hydra get to them first. Like Daniel Whitehall, he is Hydra, so he's sadistic too, so he might just kill Skye for the fun of it and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think in the midst of whatever massacre takes place, if it takes place, he might try and save Skye at the last minute. But yeah, so now he's working with Hydra. He brought them the obelisk, and it's also known in its native language as the Diviner. So there, he knows a lot of secrets. He knows a lot of stuff about the obelisk that they don't. He knows its inner workings and stuff. But yeah, so yeah, that's that. So Skye's dad, and he said Skye's not her real name. Yeah, he said we don't know what her real name is yet, but he said like Raina called her Skye over and over again, and then he said that's not her real name, but that's it. It's just a tease of what her name could be. But that's Skye's dad, and then the badass of the episode, I believe you all know who I'm talking about. I think you all know who I'm talking about. The badass, the lady, the mighty lady in red, Agent Bobby Morse. Okay, I called her Jess quite a few times when she first showed up, and kept on calling her Jess until her name was actually revealed. And for those of you who have watched Supernatural, you will know way back when in the pilot episode, the pilot episode, for which the only episode she actually lasted for, Adrienne Palicki, the actress, played Jess from that, so that's why I recognize her most commonly from. But yeah, she is Agent Bobby Morse, a double agent for Hydra. So she was I think she was like the second mole that Coulson had in Hydra. She was more like security and stuff, but like Simmons was there for like the higher level projects and the actual science and research and all that sort of jazz. So yes, I think in some aspect, like Bobby was there to kind of maybe watch over her or protect her and stuff. But she put up a very, very good intimidating act as a Hydra agent. Put up a very good intimidating act. But yeah, once we actually found out she was in S.H.I.E.L.D., and not a lot nicer, a lot softer, but at times when necessary, she was pure badassery. So yeah, like that scene where she just walk in with the Hydra agents, yep, all good and good, and then time to finally bust out from under her cover, she just unleashes the batons and boom, boom, pow, just takes them out for the count. And that was awesome to see. But yeah, my initial guess was, oh, okay, well, she seems to be Hydra, so what, is she Madame Hydra now? Like, wearing all red and a Hydra badge and all that sort of stuff. Is she Madame Hydra? No, it's all just the cover. But she was with Coulson. She knows basically everyone on the team. She knew Trip, she knew Mac, she knew May, and more than most, she knew Hunter. She is his ex-wife. She is the demonic hellbeast he was talking about last episode. I have no idea what he's on about. She seems lovely. She seems like a lovely, tall Amazonian goddess of a human being. I do not get what Hunter sees in her to have to call her a she-devil or whatever. But yeah, she is his ex-wife. She is his ex-wife. That is a reveal I would not have seen coming. But yeah, but she vouched for him as well. She vouched for him to be grouped with S.H.I.E.L.D. I think I don't know if that was before or after he joined as because he joined as a mercenary with Idaho and Hartley initially. But she did vouch for him afterwards, so now they're both working on the same team again. So this is gonna be fun. Like we're working together with S.H.I.E.L.D. That's gonna be an interesting piece of couples therapy. But yeah, she's so tall. I love that. But yeah, and apparently I think her Barbara, I think Matt called her Barbara, so I don't know if that's like a middle name or maybe if Bobby's a middle name, like Barbara, Bobby Morse. I think I was going to write down her middle name, it's probably badass, but Bobby, she insists that Simmons calls her Bobby, so Yes, I don't know, maybe Barbara, Bobby Morse, but regardless, Bobby Morse, Agent Morse, she is here. She's awesome. I'm loving her so far. So, yeah, like I think her reveal is just cool. She's walking down the corridor, you know, you think she's gonna bust out the Daredevil, and she does bust out the Daredevil. She's busting out the battens, starts swinging and hitting and all that jazz. So yeah, and she looks great in red. She looks great in red. But yeah, that is. I can cross out the Jess now because she's not Jess anymore. No, she's not Jess. She is Agent Bobby Morse. So yeah, and she used to be blonde too. She used to be blonde. Hunter remembers when she was blonde. But yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I always. I don't know. I mean, I never would have imagined Hunter's ex-wife would be in this business either. I always imagined, like, you know, she'd. I mean, the way he talks about her, we can. I mean, it's fair to say that there is an amount of bias behind it because, you know, like he can only talk about he talks about her based on his experience with her, and, you know, however he perceived her affections towards him and all that sort of stuff. So I always imagined it was like, you know, she. I don't know. I never would have imagined she was in this film. I would have thought she was just like a, you know, she worked like a normal day job and not like in like she didn't really work as a mercenary maybe, or maybe she did, but she was just like. I don't know. I just never would have imagined she'd be in this particular line of work. So just to find out that she is, it's like this has much more. This has stronger Mr. and Mrs. Smith undertones to it. Like, you know, in that movie, they're like trying to get one over on each other all the time. So with this one, it seems like with that, but double the amount of pissed off at each other at all crossroads. So yeah, but she is Hunter's ex-wife. So I think it's a very, very surprise, like a surprise for sure, but a welcome one. I don't mean to quote the Sith, but it's a surprise, but a welcome one for sure. So yeah, that is Agent Bobby Morse. What else is there? So Simmons returns to S.H.I.E.L.D. So after her covers, but I think, and then that makes sense why Coulson was so. Like, easy go. I mean, at first he was like, you know, at first you could see the terror on his face. Like, is Raina really doing this? Like, is she going that far as to expose, you know, one of my agents? But then Raina has no proper, like, you know, connection or, you know, sentiment towards S.H.I.E.L.D. She doesn't care who gets exposed. Like, she literally only cares about her own endeavors, her own projects and stuff. And if she can manipulate others into helping her, then so be it. All the better for it. But yeah, I wasn't fully surprised. I guess not. But then afterwards, as the timer went from 10 seconds downwards, you know, like you could see like the calmness on Coulson's face. I was like, Coulson, what? She's gonna be exposed. What are you doing? Just say yes. But then no, she gets exposed. The picture is up on all the screens. Back she finds her. Then you see Morse and then you see Bobby finding her, and then. All hell is unleashed as she reveals herself to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. So, you know, it's not so bad. That's why he was so confident, because he knew that Bobby was inside S.H.I.E.L.D. She would help protect Simmons, and if her cover really was blown, then Bobby would go the extra measure to blow her own cover to save her, and then they could both return to S.H.I.E.L.D. And she picked up her hard drive as well. She picked up her hard drive from the conversation in the restroom. So all the intel, and I think it's you know, like well, Simmons did say that it was only Hydra intel on there, so, I mean, whether or not that was mostly a lie just to save her own ass or what it was, it's fortuitous either way. Like, her research with Hydra can help S.H.I.E.L.D. go that much further with taking down Hydra, so it's fortuitous. But yeah, she returned to S.H.I.E.L.D., and that reunion was so short-lived. It wasn't as I mean, I guess... You know, I guess it makes sense why, that kind of reunion between Fitz and Simmons. I think it felt too different. Like, it did not go the way I expected it to. I mean, it was so like they were so distant, and Fitz, he's just now comes to terms with the fact that the Simmons he's imagining is not the Simmons that's actually there. He's imagining her because he wants her to be there, but the truth is she's not. And, you know, the very day or even night that, you know, he comes to terms with that, the real Simmons comes through. And I think he's struggling to process it, but he also can tell it's different because the one he's imagining had the ponytail and the different clothes and everything. Which someone pointed out that was the Simmons from episode 6, I believe, of season 1, like an earlier Simmons. But this one, she's rocking a different look, and she's, you know, clearly very different, and she's not as close as his mental manifestation of her was. So yeah, I mean, I imagine it will take some time for him to actually come to grips now with the fact that you know, just as he's managing to let go of the fact that Simmons isn't really there, Simmons shows up. So yeah, I guess that doesn't make sense. But yeah, I was still giddy just seeing them locking eyes through the window, and then, you know, being in the same room as each other and just stuff like that. I was expecting a hug. Not gonna lie, I was expecting a hug, but I guess that's gonna have to wait until the next episode. But yeah. So Simmons returned to S.H.I.E.L.D. There was that. What else was there? The GH formula. Okay, so the GH formula, well, I guess because there's more than one now, there's more than just 325. The 325, I believe, is that, did they use the 325 on Coulson and thingy? I mean, because 325 was the one that they identified as the one being used on Coulson when they were trying to save Skye, but then the 325 was, I think that was still the same one used on Skye, right? I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe so. But the GH formula, so it is alien DNA. We know that. We saw the tanker with the blue alien and the tubes leading into like another machine, and then it being siphoned into different vials and test tubes and all that sort of stuff. So we know it is predominantly alien DNA with regenerative capabilities. That's the whole point of it. But it also has other effects. So it's not just, you know, it's not just the Tahiti project, which is, you know, actually, you know, resurrection and rewrites of the brain to avoid massive trauma. But it's also the fact that the GH formula itself has other underlying kind of effects, or after effects, better say. It leads to the writing, and Coulson and Garrett, they both went down that route. They both went down that route of writing. Garrett sooner than Coulson. Coulson was, you know, like, he started off the season being resurrected, meaning that it was in there. It was there within the whole time, but it wasn't until like the penultimate episode, I'd say, or like the last 2-3 episodes, that you know, like from when we saw Garrett being injected with it, and then him actually starting the writing and stuff. I believe that was in the finale. So, you know, for him it was pretty much soon afterwards that it actually happened. But with Coulson, it took its time. And I think, I mean, I guess one thing is that what's it called? With Garrett, he had the centipede serum running through him, and the centipede serum, what was in there? I mean, it was basically just ingredients to make a super soldier, pretty much. But I think, was there not like extremis stuff involved in it too? I think so, because like the combustion was like the combustion issue they had was similar to how extremis soldiers in Iron Man 3 exploded. But I don't know. I think that there may have been some. I vaguely remember there being some reference to extremis. But I think the main ingredients of the centipede serum was just, you know, stuff to make a super soldier. So not, you know, it's not unlikely that they looked through the operation, the Project Rebirth stuff from World War II, where they created Captain America, to make it. But because he had that in him, I guess the combination of the centipede serum and the GH formula mixed together, maybe it like, you know, like the centipede serum itself is meant to give him enhancements. Like, it helps him from the injuries he sustained back in his older S.H.I.E.L.D. days, but you know, because it makes someone a super soldier, it makes them react faster, perform faster, it enhances stuff. So maybe it sped up that process, like it sped up the process of what the GH formula did to his body, so then that's why he started writing faster. Whereas with Coulson, he, like, you know, besides from being killed, he didn't have any other injuries that needed recovering from. Like, the GH formula was used to resurrect him, to regenerate his body, and then, you know, the whole memory rewrite thing. But besides from that, he didn't have anything else. So with that one, the GH formula, it took effect at its expected and normal-ish rate, so pretty much like an entire season, season's worth of time, and also like a good few years, because it did like happen over the course of like Iron Man 3 and like Thor 2, Cap 2, which was a bigger effect on the latter half. So it took over the course of like a good couple of years, pretty much, but. Yeah, so So because of that, like it took more time with Coulson, and now it's like, you know, it's kind of building up slowly. I'd say like once he started writing, it started building up more and more and more. So now he's actually writing more and more. Whereas with Garrett only did it once, I think, didn't he? Yeah, like he took the door off of Simmons' lab, off of Fitzsimmons' lab, and then he started writing on that. But then he didn't really go beyond that. He never got the chance to write down anything further. So yeah, but with Skye, she had it too. That was my question. Like, you know, she has the GH formula too, so should she not be writing this? She hasn't shown any other symptoms, like no enhancements of any kind, no writing, nothing. She looks like she's had like the most, you know, normal reaction of all of them. Like just no writing at all. So why is she different? And then, you know, Coulson brings up the point that for Coulson and Garrett, like, you know, the GH, you know, was basically just alien DNA being implanted into something that wasn't alien at all, like it was human. So that had, you know, obviously different effects. But with Skye, it might be because, you know, either the GH3 the GH formula isn't, you know, probably because the GH formula just isn't the only alien thing in her. Maybe there's something else. So Skye could be an alien like that. I don't know how to skirt my way around that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to skirt my way around that theory, because I mean, it makes sense. That's the weird thing. It's like, you know, because if she was human, she should be doing this stuff. Because we've seen it happen with two different people. With Garrett, it was accelerated, but with Coulson, it's running at, you know, what we can expect is its kind of normal, you know, rate. But with Skye, there's nothing at all. It's not like she's not even experiencing any of the blackouts or whatever that Coulson might be doing, because I think I'd imagine when he actually writes the stuff down, he is blacking out and the alien stuff in him is taking over. But with Skye, there's nothing, and it's like, you know, I think when we first saw them injecting the GH formula into it, like that was like the main question at the time. Like, you know, okay, so what's this gonna mean for Skye then? Because, you know, with Coulson, you know, like we saw the effect it took on him in season 1. So with Skye, like what's gonna happen? What's it gonna mean for her? But now it just means nothing. So, you know, it makes sense. Like, you know, what if it's not the only alien thing? You know, what if some version of it, like, you know, was already, you know, because the GH formula, it's extracted from the alien, but we mean, so that means it's predominantly the alien DNA, but we don't know what else it is. We don't know what else it is. I think, you know, unless it's somehow by sheer convenience, it's alien DNA that's already compatible with human DNA to the point of not really having any damages, then that would mean that, you know, the scientists did their experiments to find out how to make it more compatible, to how to make one species DNA more compatible with another species DNA. So then that would mean that, you know, it's kind of somewhat like, you know, like, well, not saturated, like desensitized. Is that the one I'm looking for? I don't know. No, it's not the one I'm looking for. Like somewhat more like, you know, diluted, perhaps. Yeah, maybe diluted. Yeah, like so, like it's not just GH325, but there's something in it to kind of, you know, lessen the damage it might have. Because like maybe if the source GH might, you know, because it's alien DNA, so mixing it with the DNA of another species, it's too different. But or by sheer convenience, it works. But, you know, it just has different effects based on who it's actually implanted into. So maybe Skye's an alien. Maybe Skye is an alien. Even her reaction, like, wait, hold on, are you saying I'm an alien? Like, that's not a theory. A theory is something that, you know, scientists use to prove and study our way of life. You saying I'm an alien is, like, you know, it's a conclusion that, you know, like, you've reached pretty much. Like, you know, and it makes sense. Otherwise, she has not shown any other symptoms. She's not shown any other worries. Like, the only thing she's worrying about is Coulson, because he's closed off. But if Skye really is an alien, it would explain why the GH225 worked, but also it worked to that extent. Like, you know, it just, you know, it already senses something inside her that it's comfortable with. But yeah, but even Ward said, like, you know, whatever's in Coulson and it was in Garrett, it's not like meant to survive, or it wasn't like, you know, like conditioned to survive or something. But, you know, it's just taking over more and more each time and making them write out the stuff. But now Skye's theory is that the writing is a map to something. Like, I mean, I think one of my theories was that it could be a diagram for something, like, you know, if it's like alien technology, maybe it's like a blueprint for something, or maybe it's like some kind of a set of alien equations or something. But writing a map makes sense, I suppose. Like, you know, it's a bunch of circles and really narrow like ovals, and then lines connecting them and all that jazz. So maybe it's a map. I don't know, but you know, trust the alien to know it. But yeah, if she really is an alien, like, you know, what alien could she be? Like, could connected straight to the blue alien, or like, I don't know, because her dad doesn't seem very alien-y. Well, I mean, maybe it could be. Maybe it's just like a really, really good camouflage he's got. But yeah, it would make sense. It would make sense, and that's the weird thing. That's the very weird thing. And again, it makes even more sense given that she's an 084. She's an 084. I mean, if she was an alien, maybe that's what the village people found out, that a baby there was an alien. They, you know, were too shocked and scared by it. They didn't want any part of that, so they tried to take the baby away from the parents, or to even kill it maybe. So the parents fought back and massacred everyone there, and then, you know, they never found it because the SHIELD team came in, like Lumley and Avery came in, and they rescued the baby, and then they tried to take it away from them. So it was an 084. The baby was an 084, and, you know, Lumley also said if it had powers, we never witnessed it. So that could have been how they found out that it wasn't of this world. Like, they saw it performing some kind of miracle, and more people were shocked negatively by it than they were positively. Like, more like, you know, like a few people said, oh, it's a miracle, and other people like, what kind of freak of nature is this? Like, no normal human baby can do that, so it probably isn't. It shouldn't even exist, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, like, wherever she comes from, it has to be to do with the writing, and it has to be to do with the GH225. So yeah, or they could kind of use it to show, like, to introduce and like multiple species of alien races, like being like, you know, because she's alien, she's able to handle it better than most, but she's not directly connected to that particular species. But I don't know, whatever way they go with this, I am all for it, and because this stuff is getting crazier by the minute, and I'm here for it. I'm loving it. But yeah, Sky could be an alien. So let me know what your theories are on that. Spoiler free, as always. But yeah, that's damn good. So the writing could be a map. So maybe it's, maybe it's like I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it could be a map to. Maybe to the alien's home planet. Like if the formula. I don't know. So the alien, the obelisk, and the writing kind of the writing shows up on the obelisk, right? And the writing seems to be in the alien DNA. So whoever comes into contact with the alien DNA in any way, or whoever absorbs it into their system, gets a dose of the DNA, gets a dose of the writing. The writing is what takes over. So it's like a piece of the alien inside all of the people who have it. Garrett's dead now, so that's gone. So the only two people with the DNA inside them are Coulson and Sky. And Coulson, he's got the writing stuff going on, which. So I don't know. Like, could it mean that, like, it's just the alien DNA in him making itself known, or like maybe, you know, or if it really is a map, maybe it's leading them back to the alien's home planet, if it's still even out there, if the aliens are still out there, because we only saw one alien in the tank. So maybe it could be like a map leading them to back to their home planet, or maybe to the obelisk, or like, because if it's, that would make more sense. Yeah, that would make some more sense because the writing is different each time. The writing is different each time, and the obelisk has been moved around. First, it was with Whitehall, and then Raina stole, and then First it was with Whitehall. Then SHIELD stole it. Then they took it in as an 084, and then it was with, and then Creel managed to get it. After Hartley and the mercenaries tried to steal it, and then Creel took it back again, and then they tried to make the swap, but then Raina took it, and then but then Raina took it from Creel, in the middle of the commotion, and then she took it to Thingy Bobbly, Sky's dad, and then now he's taking it to things. So if the writing is different each time, it could be leading them to the obelisk. If they can translate it, it could be directions to the obelisk. That would make more sense if it was leading them to the aliens' planet. Then it would be the same every time, and they would recognize it. So there'd be no reason to actually to document for May to document each of the writings. Because then if it was the home planet, it would be the same planet. So, but then if it's to the obelisk, it's changing location. Different people are taking it to different places. So then it's leading them to. Oh, okay, I see that now. So then, but the obelisk then obviously like belongs to that species, to whatever species it is. It belongs to that species. So it's obviously something of grave importance to them. So then, yeah. So the obelisk is being moved around. Maybe could the alien have been here? I mean, Hydra had both the alien and the obelisk in their possession. So could the alien have been? If the alien crashed here or whatever, whatever happened to the alien? Could it have been trying to track down the obelisk before it was killed and before it was captured? I mean, assuming Hydra were the ones who captured and killed the alien, but then kept the obelisk behind as well. Maybe that was its last mission. Maybe that was its last kind of biological. I mean, we don't know how those things are biologically wired, besides from they have regenerative capabilities. So maybe that was its last mission, like maybe finding the obelisk on Earth, but then it was captured by Hydra. And then but then with the obelisk, but then because that was maybe its last DNA imprinting, maybe whoever takes in its DNA, it like whoever absorbs the DNA also absorbs those last few memories, maybe. And that's what the writing is like. They're like the DNA is still active within their systems. So with Coulson, it's kind of like Coulson's maybe like the host for the DNA. It's like every time the DNA, the alien DNA takes over, it's writing down wherever it thinks the obelisk might be, how far it is, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Oh god, I feel like I'm spoiling myself with all this speculation. Like by the time it happens, I'll be like, yeah, called it. Like it's cool and all, knowing what's going on, but at the same time, yeah. But I mean, this kind of stuff, it's not exactly a spoilery thing, I guess. It's just just being able to actually think about what it might mean. So yeah. Maybe that's what it is. It's a map to the obelisk. Maybe that's what it actually is. But then, if Sky's dad was writing, then would he be... No, but Sky's dad already had the obelisk, though. Yeah, he had the obelisk when the writing on the painting was done. Yes, I mean... But what if he's an alien, too? Oh, because if Sky's an alien, that means her parents have to be aliens, too, right? It has to be. Yeah. And if he knows especially if he knows the secrets of the obelisk, he has to be connected to the alienness in some way too. Okay. Oh, so maybe he's like Sky in the sense that he can choose when to write it. Yeah. Yeah, so then he's studied the obelisk. He knows it. He knows it's called the Diviner alone. So he knows more and more about the obelisk. So maybe Sky has the same thing where she can choose and not she can choose to write about it or not write about it, but she just doesn't know about it. She doesn't know enough about it to write it. So maybe the writing that he was doing was something a bit more controlled and it wasn't specific to the location. Maybe the writing can differ with context. Stuff like that. So, okay, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, the more I go on about this, the more afraid I am of just saying something really far-fetched that makes no sense. But then, the more I think about this, it's like, it makes sense. This sounds stupid, but that actually makes a bit more sense. So, I don't know. Maybe that is my theory now. The map is a map to the obelisk. The writing is a map to the obelisk. So, yeah. Okay. So that's a somewhat of a working theory. So we have that. We have Whitehall. Kenneth, the other dude, he said that Whitehall is one of the heads of Hydra, or like one of the newer heads of Hydra. So we know Hydra has like multiple heads, and it's always like cut off one head, two more can take its place. So so like, could he be a part of like a council? Could he be part of like a higher council? I mean, because we've only seen Whitehall so far. We don't know who else is there, or if there is anyone else there. But so far, Whitehall is being made out to be the big cheese of this particular Hydra base. And again, we know that Hydra is all over the globe, so they could have similar bases and similar buildings and stuff all over the globe as well. So they could have multiple bases of operations, but maybe the other ones are somewhat more underground, and given that we are dealing predominantly with the US, this is the one in America that we're focusing on. But Whitehall is one of the heads of Hydra, so there could be more working with him or working above him. Maybe he could be receiving orders from somewhere else, but he's still strong enough to actually give his own orders and to call his own shots and stuff. But he is one of the heads of Hydra, so whether or not we meet the other heads is up for, to based on, how, like, in what we see in future episodes. But Kenneth called him one of the heads of Hydra, so it's up for discussion. But yeah, that's that. And yeah, one thing I noticed: Coulson's secrecy. It's like a turn of the tables. It's like a turn of the tables. A very ironic turn of the tables. Because he's keeping Sky in the dark about all of this stuff. He's keeping Sky in the dark about the writing and about his source and about all the other stuff. And even May saying it's not good to keep her in the dark because he knows exactly how it feels. He knows like the first half, the former half of season 1 was about him being in the dark from all of this, about him not knowing the truth behind Tahiti, about how he was resurrected, about all that stuff, and how about how long it really went on for, and about exactly what was done to him to resurrect him and keep him alive. The more he tried to dig in, the more the answer was pulled away from him. Like his security clearance being, like the security clearance of the information being heightened to beyond his level, and all sorts of other stuff, and then the magical place, and him being conditioned to say, like, he knows exactly what this is like, and he knows how much pain and trouble finding out this information has caused him, and now he's reversing that onto Sky. He's flipping that table onto Sky. Sky saw exactly how much trouble it caused him as well, and she knows that she also knows how it feels, and like May's somewhat calling Coulson out on it, but not enough for it to be explicitly said, like, how it feels. I don't flip the tables on her, but it's a somewhat ironic turn of the tables onto Sky for him to keep her in the dark. But I mean, in his defense, he told her stuff. Even in season 1, he told her stuff once he understood it himself. Right now, he understands next to nothing about this writing. He doesn't know why it's happening. He doesn't know where it's coming from, and most of all, he doesn't know what it means. And everything he told Sky about herself, he told her once he had time to process it, once he could explain it, once he knew that he could explain it to her if she didn't understand it, and also reassured her that anything else that neither of them understood, they would find out together, and offered to keep it between them. But now this is about him, and he's director, so I think that's one of the bigger reasons that there's such a big tone shift with that kind of thing, and with that kind of thing in this season, is that there's a much more drastic tone shift. He's the director of the new Shield. He's running the much larger operation now, so he has a lot more at stake than just personal connections and stuff. So that's something that they're actually really going the extra mile to kind of enforce. The fact that, Coulson isn't just an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore, he's the director, he's leading this new agency, this new team, as small as it is. And with Hydra being as big as they are out there, he's got a lot more to worry about than making sure that, then making sure that he's opening up and being emotional and upfront with his own team members and stuff. And stuff like this, it's stuff that they don't understand yet, so he can't really risk anything. So it's understandable, but it's still, like, when you look at it, it's still like an ironic kind of turn of the tables, and like a twist on like how he felt back in season 1 to now how he's making someone else feel, and even to the point where Sky has to visit Ward, to that point where Sky has to visit their number one enemy of Hydra that they're keeping prisoner, and hear answers from him, and Ward is being ever more manipulative, being like, oh, I won't ever lie to you again. I won't ever lie to you again. I know we started off based on lies, but I won't ever lie to you again, and I'll always help you, and I'll always be here for you, and all that sort of stuff. But Sky's not falling for it. She's not falling for any of that stuff. So yeah, so the fact that she had to go down to Ward is bad enough, and then after that, like in the end, he finally actually opens up and tells her what this is. And I mean, he's been keeping her in the dark to an extent. He's been telling her to examine the writing, but he just hasn't told her that he's been doing the writing himself. He's been doing a lot more writing himself, and that he is the source of most of the writing that he's been sending her. I think he sent her samples of the painting. I think maybe some of his own writing, but also mainly the painting, and also Garrett's writing as well. Garrett's writing on the board. He on the door even. He sent her that, so she's been examining that, but he just hasn't told her that he's been writing his own, or that, you know, any of that stuff. So yeah, so he just never told her that, you know, that he was the main source of the writing in current time. So yeah, but how that evolves, we'll see. But I think, you know, like I think by the end of the episode, especially because he knows how it is to be, how bad it is to be kept in the dark, and how it feels. That's why that's why he finally took the step to tell her the truth and all that sort of stuff. So it was good to see him finally evolving from that. But that's that. But yeah, so again, the end of the episode, we saw that Sky's father somehow sees a common enemy with Hydra in Phil Coulson and also S.H.I.E.L.D., but mainly Phil. And I think maybe seeing Coulson hugging Sky after she found the picture of him and her as a baby, and we saw baby Sky in the photo too, so that was cool. But after seeing them hugging on camera, that kind of sent some kind of fatherly jealousy down his spine. So now he sees a common enemy in Coulson. I mean, it's his fault for upping and moving. Had he been there, had he not only cleaned up the bodies but also been there to meet her, then it wouldn't even be an issue, you know. But he not only left, but he left the bodies out in fresh pools of blood for her to see and for her to come to the conclusion that he's a monster. And he even, you know, kind of admitted that himself, like, you know, but he's like, you know, a monster, and then he smashed the iPad and then just threw it out the window and all that sort of stuff. So so because of that, he's got some jealousy towards Phil Coulson. So in return, in exchange for giving them the obelisk and teaching them of its inner workings, he's gonna help them kill Phil Coulson and everyone else in S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm sensing a bit of a war coming. I'm sensing another S.H.I.E.L.D. versus Hydra war coming this season, so that's going to be nothing short of a massacre. But hopefully he meets Sky before then, and hopefully she can talk him down from helping Hydra orchestrate that kind of attack on S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that sort of stuff. But we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, this episode was packed to the brim with all sorts of reveals and screen time and all that sort of stuff. Great to see more of Sky's dad. And yeah, I mean, Raina, you know, when I said she should go to S.H.I.E.L.D. and get their help, this is not how I envisioned she would. I mean, it doesn't surprise me because she is manipulative. That is her whole thing. She manipulates people into giving her what she wants and into fueling her own interests. But yeah, when I said she should go to S.H.I.E.L.D. to get their help on this whole case, this is not what I envisioned. But it's Raina, so it makes sense. But yeah, good to see Raina again. Good to see Sky's dad getting more screen time and just discovering a little bit more about him. Still teasers for the most part, but still good to see more of that happening. What else? Good to see more of just usual stuff, and good to finally meet Bobby Morse as well. I'd say, I never thought I'd say this, but you know, good to finally meet Hunter's ex-wife. But good to see Adrienne Palicki in this as well. I haven't seen her in anything other than Supernatural. And Supernatural, she literally only, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, but she literally only survived the pilot episode. So I haven't really, is there anything else she's been in that I might have recognized her from? I don't know what else she might have been. I don't particularly. I think she was in that movie. She was in that movie with Paul Bettany, the one with the angels and demons. Yeah, like she had like an angel child in her belly. Yeah, she was pregnant with like some kind of angel baby. I don't know, like some cheap like sci-fi like biblical fantasy movie with. I don't know. I saw a clip one time where she was pregnant and stuff, but I don't know. But it's good to see her in this. I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull off Bobby Morse and all that sort of stuff. So, great introduction for her. A kick-ass introduction for her. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much more of her that we see in this season and in the show as a whole. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this episode. So that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 5, titled A Hen in the Wolfhouse. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what working theories you have on the writing and Sky, and even what you think of Bobby, and what you hope to see from her and all that sort of stuff. I mean, most of you have already watched this, but regardless, tell me what you think of Bobby. And yeah, that's it. So, I will see you guys next time.